Welcome
Thank
to
you.
Coffee.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you're sitting with something to sip on because I'm sitting with my cup of coffee.
I'm trusted water.
Sure, water is always good. Needs to keep oneself hydrated. Tell
Correct.
me, after kill, you need all the hydration all the more, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So how's it been like for you? Were you expecting the reception that the film has got, considering you guys have marketed the film as the most violent film ever, especially coming from the Hindi film industry? Did you
Correct.
expect this?
Um, Expectations versus hopes. I think that is where we are at right now. So we had hoped that it would receive this kind of reception and would be received with so much love. Expectations we hadn't. I mean, I at least I had no idea what to expect because obviously it is quite a go fest. It is India's most violent film. So there's always that thing that the thought that you're battling in your head that would people be able to appreciate this art form and all of those things and be able to see it as we're trying to bring it to life, like keeping it as raw and as real as possible, and instead of making it down into different things. But hopes and expectations have been met, and we're just glad that it's being received with so much love. And I mean, worldwide, the love it's receiving, it's amazing, and the kind of acknowledgement that is being tipped off to the makers of it. So that feels great.
But tell me something. When this story was narrated to you, what was that one thing that probably pushed you into saying yes? Because from where people would see it, these are two men pitted against one another for, of course, this damsel in distress. But rather than playing a cliche damsel in distress, there are many layers to your character. So, what really got you to say that, okay, fine, it is more than just these two? Of course, I am also going to shine in my own right in the character that's been etched out for me.
So, like you were saying, she is not your typical damsel in distress, which was so attractive to me. I was like, okay, this girl has, she's feisty and she owns up to who she is, and I mean, she is fierce. So that I think was one thing that really attracted me about Tulika. Yes, it is about the men being pitted against one another, but in the midst of it all, if you have the chance of being the catalyst, so why not take up that opportunity, right? I love being the center of attention. So I was like, okay, this is my opportunity. I'm going to take it by the hand and just make the most of it. So even though what was written out for Tulika wasn't a lot, I knew, I mean, Nikhil sir and I had that conversation where we were just like, how can we make out Tulika to be more than what she's been written on paper? And he's like, yeah, that's why I need your help, Tanya. Like, bring her to life and bring whatever you can of Tanya's to her and, accept Tulika into yourself and see where she takes you. So it was quite a journey because I think Tulika was one character which I had a lot of it was quite a journey to start connecting with her because
Yeah.
that sort of feistiness, yeah, because I mean, just from the dialect part of it to her attitude and to her personality, it's not like Tanya at all. I am a very Suljawa person. I'll sit in one corner, I'll do as you tell me, and that is who Tanya is. And Tulika is the bang opposite of it. Tulika will never do as you tell her. And she stands up for herself, which I really admire about her. So right from getting the dialect right to that attitude, I think that fierceness. It took me a while, but then I think we got there, and when I really started connecting with her is when I started realizing that there's so much room for her to do things, and this is how Tulika will not be a typical damsel in distress because no matter what's going on inside her, the fear, the thought that is driving her in that moment, she will always be the fiercest person in the room. She'll always be the strongest person in the room, and she won't let her fear be the guiding factor. She's going to still let her mind do the thinking and let her
Hmm.
mind drive. I mean, even though she's a very heart-driven person, she also weighs out the consequences of her actions.
Yeah.
So you will see her that she has opinions, but she thinks about whether she wants to voice them at that moment or not. like for instance, in that scene where she is engaged off to somebody else, but she starts off the scene by telling her sister that जहाँ मर्जी कर रहे हो हमारी सगाई शादी हम लोग से ही करेंगे. She doesn't care about letting her parents know that she's in love with somebody else, because she knows that that is a conversation with a dead end, that it's talk to a wall. So when the father asks her about why she didn't tell him about this guy, she's like, "So, what would have happened if I had had this conversation with you? Would you have accepted it had you not been in this situation?" So she really knows what she's doing. So I really admired that about her. Like, a girl who can think, but also knows when to speak up and when to not. So I think that, yeah. So I think all of these things about Tulika is what made me feel like she's going to be a fun one.
You know what? One other thing that stood out for the film in the film for me was very unusual connection. The train in itself is a character, and the fact that it's
Yeah.
Ranchi Rajdhani, I have often taken this to go home.
Oh,
So now
really?
flights to Ranchi Rajdhani are going to be very, very different. So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, really? So that was one connect. So yeah, but how? So on a Dharma set, because nobody would have realized that okay, fine, Dharma is not just about those mountains and chiffon sarees and romance and over the top probably hero and heroine entries. More to it,
Yeah.
than what we've seen so far of Dharma. So this film is also sort of redefining that brand. So
Yeah.
does this make it even more exciting, considering you're also working on a Dharma project?
Absolutely. I think when I got on board initially, it was just Sikha, and then Dharma also became a co-producer. And to be thinking that for a Dharma, it's quite an unexpected genre that we're doing. So just the thrill of it was that okay, we are venturing into something very new. We are maybe setting up a trend for what could be coming ahead. So that I think, just being the pioneers of this change and the maker, like the markers of, something so huge and so impactful. I mean, that is obviously quite exciting, but at the same time, there's a lot of responsibility that is added to it, how if we are venturing into the space, it has to be done right. There is no
Yeah,
scope
absolutely.
for things to go wrong right now, because I think everybody on set had that mindset where everybody was just coming together to execute this one man's vision, and everybody was so well prepared. Everybody had their work cut out for them. So just seeing a set full of people who were ready to give it their all, it's an amazing feeling, because you're all in it together. So you're instrumental to the story, you're instrumental to the project. So, and that is how you're marking the change. I mean, whatever the outcome would be in the end, it's a different story. But right now, in that moment, you did your best. And I think that I mean, given with the excitement that is that the responsibility of it, you start kind of enjoying the process. That okay, the outcomes are going to be a different thing. We'll think about it later, but if you give it
Loving
your
the
all,
journey.
yeah, if you give it your all, there's going to be something good coming out of it. So I mean, whatever it's going to be, it's going to be. But for now, we are going to just have fun.
Okay. Now, usually when I sit for an interview, for a conversation over a cup of coffee with anyone, I'd like to do my research about that person. I have done my research about you, but I want to make it a little more inquisitive, an
Okay.
interview this one. So I really want to know, how did you actually, and I don't want to go too far back in history, but then every actor before venturing into the industry has a very interesting story, I feel. What has been your story? From Flames to A Suitable Boy to Kill Now. What is Tanya Maniktala's story? Why this? Why films?
Um, so I was actually a copywriter.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I wanted to become a writer. I had no plans of getting into acting. I did theater when I was in college. I did that for a year.
Yeah.
It was well received, the plays that we would perform, and that is how Flames happened. The first season, while I was still in my graduation, and the first season did well. So I thought, if you're having fun at it, I mean, if you're having fun while doing it, why not just give it a shot? So I started auditioning, but to no avail.
Yeah.
It didn't result in anything. And there was just this young teenager who was really heartbroken after all of that. It's like, oh shit, maybe that was it. Maybe that was all the fun I was supposed to have. And I enjoy reading, I enjoy writing. So why not go with the original plan? So I
Hmm.
post my graduation, I started working as a copywriter, and that's when I was applying for my masters. And I applied for my master's. I got into the college that I wanted to. I was in the course I wanted, and I get a call from one of my theater batchmates asking that there is a series that we are auditioning for. Would you like to come to audition for it? I think you might have a good fit in one of the roles. And that time I was like, please don't draw me back into this world. It's a never ending cycle. Once you get the taste of it again, you can't have enough of it. I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. It's like, please, I cannot tell you what the project is, but it's going to be a good one. And if nothing works out, you will still, you can stick to your original plan. You can go ahead with things the way they were. I was like, okay, you know what? He makes sense. I'm not going to be losing out on anything. So might as well just give it a shot. Went into audition, turned out to be for a suitable boy. And yeah, so since then things have just happened. Yeah.
How did the family take this sort of course from copywriting to a completely different sphere altogether, from behind the camera, probably writing a story, to being in one, acting in one?
Initially it took them by surprise, I would say, because nobody in my family, or I mean, nobody in my khandan has ever been into acting or in the industry. So, and to imagine the kid who was the quietest of the lot was taking up a job in front of the camera. So that I think took them by surprise, and it took a little getting used to and a little getting around it. But eventually, they did come to terms with it. Obviously, Indian parents were very, very protective of me, and they were very scared as to what I was getting into, because this was an unknown territory for all of us. We had no idea how things were going to pan out, and obviously there are things that you would hear back in the day about the industry and all the speculations that
Yeah.
were being around it. So I think they were a little afraid, even though they would never show it to me, and they would always be supportive in whatever I did. I mean, because obviously they saw the sheer joy that it brought me. So they were like, okay, you know what, let her figure it out. If nothing works out, she still has her academics and she can go back to it at any time. But for now, she's having fun. Let her be. So I think that is how they just came around.
Okay. Okay, now is the time when I like to do this little sip and spill segment where you spill the beans if, for the cliche aspect of things. We'll try and make it not cliche at all. I want you
Okay.
to spill some beans from me, from your personal life or from your life. Interesting
Okay.
ones. I hope the questions turn out to be interesting. You have to just take a sip if this has happened in your life or you have done it in your life. Okay? And then, of course, tell me the story behind it.
Oh my
Okay?
god.
Ready? Ready?
Yes.
Okay. Take a sip if you like in person interviews more than these virtual ones. Obviously, meeting a person is always interesting.
I know. I wish we were doing it in person, but right now, I mean, I'm just happy to be talking to you. So.
Okay, take a sip if you've ever been fully dressed for a Zoom call, for a Zoom interview. Fully.
Can't you see? I mean,
Dude, I can only see your mugshot.
initially the plan was to sit in pajamas, but then I was like, you know what? No, it's going to make me feel better and more confident. So let's switch up to trousers. So I did.
Wow, that's very diligent of you. Okay, all right. Take a sip if you have had a really crazy, funny audition experience. The fact that you're laughing and smiling, I mean, you do have a memory.
Because that audition never left me. I think I had gone into, I cannot name the casting agency, but I had
Yeah.
gone into audition for an ad.
Hmm.
And in that ad, it was, oh my God, I'm going to go. It was something related with food. And in the
Okay.
ad, there is a person, like there's a dog. I mean, in the script at least, there was a dog barking, and then there was a driving, like there was a car being driven. So the casting agents, obviously, they were giving it their all, and the casting agent has started barking, and it threw me off so much. And after barking away, he's off camera and everything. he's gotten into the car, like he's gone into a pretend car and he has started driving. And I was like, no, I cannot do this. I cannot. But we continued to record the audition. It did not work out for
Okay.
reasons I think I know. But yeah.
I thought you landed yourself the ad. Okay.
No,
Fine.
no, no. I mean, the role that I was going in for was a very serious role. You know, she was a very sehemawa person. When you see a person barking in front of you, how do you do that? I would break into a laugh all the time.
Okay. I know you're not that generation, but take a sip. If you've ever in your life written a love letter or received a love letter, proper handwritten love letter. You're picking up the glass. Wow. Wow.
College.
That's
College mein,
nice.
I have
Written
received.
or received?
No,
Received.
received.
Okay.
Written, have I written? No, I haven't written. I've written letters in general, but no love letters.
Okay. So what do you write? Poetry or just letters?
Letters. I mean, I do write, random poetry, spurts of it whenever I get inspiration, but yeah.
Wow. Anything that you've written lately? Something
I
that you
haven't,
found?
I haven't been writing as of late. Yeah.
Okay.
But I've been
All right.
reading, so that's nice.
What are you reading?
I'm reading Normal Person. Have you read it? Have you seen the
No, I haven't.
series?
I haven't. I haven't
Oh,
yet.
it's a beautiful book about these two characters who are very normal people, and you know how they're so caught up in their own heads, and how we tend to complicate relationships just by being in our own head instead of having that conversation. And I think this generation would absolutely be able to relate to that. So yeah,
Okay.
it's quite an interesting read. It's sweet.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Take a sip if you can. Mime either one of your producers or co-actors from Kill.
Mine, oh no. Um,
Anyone. The choice is yours. It could be Guneet, Karan Johar, Raghav, Laksh. Your choice.
oh shit. Okay, so I'll do Raghav.
Okay.
I'll take a sip. And Raghav would number one be lounging always. And he was like, यार मेरा सोच रहा था कि हम ना ऐसा कुछ करते हैं ठीक है ना and then we've discussed everything and then he would come on set and he would try that new thing and he would be the first person to explode into a laughter and he'll be like and then because he would have that cookery in his hand and then he'll go yeah thoda sa na alag sa ho gaya and I would just any BTS photo of us you will see or any BTS video of us you will see we'll just be laughing. There was this one BTS photo that was shared with me recently only by Sikha, I think, in which there was a kukri pointed at my neck. And I am laughing in the mirror. You can see Raghav is laughing. I'm like, guys, what was happening? Why am I laughing so much? But it was a fun set to be on.
Okay. The fact that we're talking about the Kill set, take a sip if you remember any one dialogue from another character which is not yours more than what you were supposed to do in that scene, more than your own.
Of course. Again, Raghav, because Raghav and I had so much while we were shooting on in the train on set. Any of all of his dialogues I would remember because every time he would say it so differently. Like, अब क्या बोलने वाले? So I would be anticipating कि एक line को कितने तरीके से बोल सकते हैं. And there was one line that he improvised, and उसके बाद हम वो करते ही रहे थे. In that scene where he hits my father on the head, and my dad is supposed to, मतलब Harsh sir, he faints. And then my dadi goes, मेरा बच्चा. And he goes, कुछ नहीं हुआ है आपके बच्चे को. And I don't know why I found that so funny because that was not in the script. He was supposed to go ahead with some other line, but the fact that he chose to respond to an old lady to tell her that, bro, everything is okay, chill out. That I don't know why I found so funny. So yeah.
So far, out of the associations that you've had, as far as your projects, which has been a really personal one for you, Tanya? Whether it is a suitable boy, Kill, the guy, or Flames, your first one, the most personal association, probably the friendships that have still lasted and will last the test of time.
I think all of them. I've I've touched wood been very blessed when it comes to the people that I've worked with, because I have honestly worked with very like genuinely good people. So Flames people, we're still friends. We've shot for over 4 seasons now. So obviously that is a friendship, and we were all so young back. When we shot for the first season, we were all still in college, and Ritvik was the youngest of the lot. But till date, like even when I was, sending out invites for the premiere of Kid, and his name is still saved as Rajo. That was his character's name, Rajat. So I would still message him, ki, bro, please try and come for the premiere. And even though he couldn't make it, I mean, I knew he was there in spirit with me. All of the
Yeah.
people from my set of Feels Like Ishq were there. Joydeep was there. Skand was there. They've always been there. Suitable, we are all still in touch. Shahana is a dear friend. Danish is one person again I'm very very close to. Kaveri, Kush, Miradi, not just the cast but also the crew has been so close. And with Gil also now, Lakshay is again a very good friend. Raghav again, like we've all shared such a good equation. So just I think project has been quite personal for me, and it's these people that I think I take away from every set, and these relationships that are going to last me for a lifetime now. Because the project is done. It's the people who made that set for me, and it's the people who make the project for me. I've always been a people person where
Mm.
I would stay for the people. I would also leave because of the people. So for that reason, I'm very careful about who I'm surrounding myself with. And so far, Touchwood, everybody has been great. I've had great friendships, great relationships from all of them. So I mean, I absolutely adore all of these projects that I've done and all these people that I've worked with.
Okay. So last two, and I'm sure you will be taking a sip for these two also. Take a sip if you've ever been caught dancing or singing in your vanity with one of your co-stars in any of the projects.
With Gil, I think because Lakshya and I were sharing a van, unki whatever was happening, like whatever music was being played in his van, I would be singing, like banging my head to it. And with Flames, we would always be in the same van, just की भी vanity होगी. सब उसमें जाके बैठ जाते थे, and we would all be always dancing together. Suitable also, Ma, Rasika, me, all of us, Danish would come into the van. We would all have chilling sessions. So yeah, and sometimes you get these videos, random videos being sent to you. They're like, "ये कब record हुई है?" So yeah, all of those things have happened.
Okay. Take a sip if you're a decent singer, if you're a good enough singer and have sung a duet with one of your co-stars, I say, in like one of the nice chilling sessions between shots.
I am a terrible singer. I'm a terrible singer. I wouldn't dare to sing in front of other people.
Really?
No, I
You
yeah,
sound
yeah.
so nice. I thought you must be a good singer.
What are you saying? Thanks, yeah. I think that's please tell that to my sister, because she has sworn me to life that please do not. I mean, whatever little bit.
Even Namit did not teach you how to sing properly. Namit is like a great singer.
Namit is a great singer, which why I wouldn't dare. No, why would I want to do that to myself in front of him? That too. No, I was very happy to listen to him, but I wouldn't dare cross that line.
All right, Tanya, it was really lovely chatting with you, and I hope the very best for all your future projects. And congratulations on Kill. Keep doing the
I
good work that you're doing.
Thank you so much. It was lovely, lovely speaking with you, and thank you for this extremely fun conversation. And now,
Thanks.
take a sip. If you would want to do an audition, like an interview in person as well.
Oh, this was so interesting. I'll down this. Let me down this.
Take care. Thank you so much.
Cheers.